Budapestről érkeztünk a Kóstúdióból, és szeretettel köszöntjük Helsinkiben a Brief Terápia Intézet igazgatóját, dr. Furman pszichiátert.
Egy programról szeretnénk vele beszélgetni, a Kooperáció programról.
Kedvesben, mi vezette Önt ahhoz, hogy az együttműködés Cooperation programját bevezesse?
What have you, how do you come to this idea to have this, to create this program?
Actually, it's a funny story because I am a medical doctor and I specialize in psychiatry. So, my real work is teaching psychotherapy. That's what I do mostly. But already many years ago, 25 years ago, even more, I started to get invitations to come to workplaces. And people say to me that they need psychological help to create. They didn't say happy workplaces, but they said workplaces where people are not all the time fighting, where they all the time don't have headaches, where the atmosphere is not tensed, but where you are like feeling happy and satisfied. You like your work, you are motivated to do your work. You are not all the time sick because, I don't know, whatever problems you have to go to the doctor because you cannot work, because you have this problem, because you have that problem. And many workplaces here in Finland, particularly at the time of crisis, you know, when we change everything all the time. So there's a lot of changes, and people suffer from those changes, and some kind of psychological help is needed in how to make our workplace a place where I feel happy. My boss is good, I am good. My boss thinks I am good. I have colleagues, we work together well. And the idea is very simple, very similar to football team. You have a football team and they are playing football. You can put the best players, but you don't get any results at all unless these people start to work together. It's teamwork. Maybe that's not a popular term, teamwork, but that's what we need. We need people who can work as a group together well and feel happy about their work. This is a important thing, not only for Hungary or Finland, it's important for the whole world.
És milyen területeken lehet ezt használni? What type of areas you can use this training model, this model?
Good question. I had to develop, because I was visiting companies and organizations, my colleague was visiting another company. We started to collect ideas that we think, that we believe are important to teach people. Now, if you learn this, then you will have a happier company, then you will work better together. You will be more satisfied with your bosses. Yeah? And so these psychological ideas that we have developed, they can be utilized in any organization. You know, even if it was a symphony orchestra, or a sport team, or an IT company, a school, a university, you name it, a business company, any organization where people have to work together. We are talking about an organization, even a family can benefit from some simple ideas, actually very simple ideas, that we, maybe not so new ideas, but ideas that we have to remind ourselves. This is important when you are working as a team, as a group. Otherwise you'll be fighting all the time.
Ben, a pszichoterápia az ugye ismert, hogy az ilyen hosszú ideig tart, hónapokig, évekig tart. It's known that psychotherapy is for years, for months. How different what you are using this model from the normal coaching or normal psychotherapy?
No, this is very different because it's true that in the olden times, old school, there was an old school in my field, and the old school was that if you have a problem, you have to go and go and go and go. That kind of old school also came to the workplaces. So you started to have consultants, like external consultants, who come to your company and try to fix your company. But many times they did the same. They made themselves very important. You need me. I am coming to your company, to your school, to your organization for the next 2 years. I will be helping you to change, to become better, to work together well. And this is old school. Now what we think is that people don't need to do long, expensive processes. They need to get some practical ideas that we can teach people in just a few sessions. Maybe sometimes we can teach an idea in just one lecture, but I have found that there are six key ideas that I would like people to know. And I know, and everybody knows, that if you have psychological ideas, you typically don't learn these ideas by listening to lectures. You have to practice, you have to try it, you have to experience it. When you experience an idea in your own body, you say, now I know how it feels. I want to do like this, I don't want to do like that. Then you can have change.
Ben, ahogy én ezt gondolom, ez coaching inkább, mint pszichoterápia. Az emberek félnek a pszichoterápia szótól. Mennyiben különbözik a coaching, ami az alapja ennek a módszernek, nem csak a klasszikus, hanem egyáltalán a pszichoterápiától? The people are afraid of the word psychotherapy. As I know it, it's based on coaching, this system. How you can describe this difference and how it's closer to the people, this type of method?
When I work in organizations, in schools, in hospitals, in government, I never speak about psychotherapy. It's not important. These are psychological ideas. They happen to come from the word of psychotherapy. They could come from the word of sports coaching too. It doesn't matter where they come from. We just collected some ideas that we find that they are useful, and then we teach them to organizations. Forget about psychotherapy. Forget about sports coaching. Forget about the roots of these ideas. Just become interested in, is this idea useful to me or not?
Now, if you have mentioned already that there are six modules in this, you have már megemlítetted, hogy van 6 része ennek a programnak. Could you speak about these 6 modules? Meg tudnád említeni, hogy mi a lényege ennek a 6 modulnak?
Yeah, of course it's my favorite topic. I love to talk about the 6 topics because it took a long time to figure out which 6 topics we actually want to concentrate. Because we cannot, organizations, they don't have time to study psychology for year after year. So you have to squeeze it in to a package. And me and my colleagues, we over the years, we developed an understanding of which are the 6 skills, core skills, that we would like people to know. Everybody should know these 3 things. And could be a boring lecture, but to go through all the 6. But let me start with the first one, and I think is maybe the most important one, and that is that I like to teach people to enjoy success. Now, many times in our work we succeed with this one, we succeed with that one. We have a success experience. But this success experience goes out the window because we don't share it with others. I don't tell you about my successes. You don't tell me about your successes. Nobody speaks about successes because we have so many problems to talk about. So then we have an organization where everybody is talking about problems all the time. Now, nobody can be happy in an organization where you talk about problems all the time. So you have to change the culture. This is a cultural change. And you start to talk about successes. Now that's not so easy. You are changing the culture here. You're creating a new culture where people are actually talking with each other about success. What did you succeed with? How did you do that? Interesting. We are starting to learn from each other. Not only hear that others also have problems, but we are hearing each other's successes. And it's a skill to talk about problems. And I like to teach people some tricks about how it becomes possible for us to share successes. We learn a lot from successes. It creates motivation, it creates happiness, it creates the feeling that people appreciate my work is being appreciated. That is what everybody wants. Everybody wants their work to be appreciated. So these are very, very important things, and it is possible to become better at that. And one of the tricks that we teach people always is when you succeed, you have to tell about it to others. But the way you tell about this to others is very important. You have to bring the others into your success. So if I tell about my success, it's important that I speak about my success in a way that makes you happy too. I don't want to make you unhappy because I succeeded. So I learned to speak about my successes in a responsible manner, meaning that the others also become happy about that.
Ben, önök ketten, ön és a Brief Terápiai Intézetnek másik igazgatója Tapani, ahol fejlesztettek ki ezt a programot. Végigjárták a világot, számos országban bemutatták. Árulja el nekünk, mi a sikertitka?
You have with Ben, with your colleague, you have worked out this program, and you have journeyed around the world, everywhere. And what is the success? What is the secret of the success? Could you tell us?
We are teaching principles that I think others are teaching too. I don't think we are telling anything very, very spectacular. Cooperation. I learned things that I never heard everywhere in the world. So it's not that we are teaching something totally new. Actually, very often I feel our job is to remind people about things that they already know. But I think that because of so many years of experience of teaching, maybe what happened is that we developed a teaching style. You know, exercises, humor, playfulness, a teaching style that is not ex cathedra. Ex cathedra meaning that I am going to tell you how you should behave, and you know, it's not old school. It's new school. And new school is, hey, let's look at this together. Let's make a fun exercise. Let's get insights. It's not me teaching you. It's me inviting you to a teaching experience, like a game. And we do games. And when we do games, everybody decides themselves what they learn from the games. But it's called experiential learning. So I think a lot of people like this program because it's based on experiential learning, not expert learning, but experiential learning. Yeah.
Van egy alapelve benne ennek az egésznek a megoldás központúság, és még nem beszéltünk róla. Szeretném, hogyha erről beszélnél. There is a basic core principle in all this, the solution-focused technique. We have not spoken about it still, but it's a very important thing. I would like you to speak about it a little bit. What is solution-focused?
Okay, that's a good question. What is solution-focused, and where to start? There was a school of psychotherapy. Family therapy, like people coming with different problems, the children not going to the school, father drinking, mother depressed, whatever. There was a clinic, this is in the 70s, and they developed a way of talking with people. It's a way of talking with people that was very different from the other way of talking about problems. So when you talk about problems, you have different styles. And there is a style that is called solution-focused problem solving. So you're still solving problems, but you do it in a little bit different way. And what was typical of this solution-focused model was that you didn't focus on the problem. So you are talking about problems, but you are not focusing on the problem. Interesting idea. What do you do instead? You usually talk with people about how they want their future to be. So it's very different from the old school. When you see people and you say, okay, of course you have problems, everybody has problems, but how do you want your future to be? So this was a future-oriented model, and the name could also be future-oriented coaching, future-oriented therapy, future-oriented whatever. So people who worked in this model, they became very good at talking with people about future. So you have to be good at asking good questions like, tomorrow is a better day for you? How will it look like? And now you can start to understand that if I go to organizations, to schools, to kindergartens, to IT companies, so I always ask the same question, because I am solution focused. How would you like things to be in the future? So that gives me ideas of what people want, not what problems they have. Of course, I also hear that. And what you want is somehow related to the problems. But I am always more interested in what do you want to learn? How do you want to learn to deal with situations? If people say conflicts are difficult for us, my question is not, so what conflicts do you have? My question is, what do you need to learn in order for you to be able to deal with conflicts better? So we are thinking in terms of skills. Everybody can learn. And we are only asking one question, what do you need to learn in order for you to become better at dealing with this situation? So in a school, for example, you have a teacher who doesn't know what to do because the children are making so much noise. Maybe you don't have children in Hungary who make noise, but we have a lot of children in Finland who make a lot of noise, and the teachers are like, pulling their hair. They don't know what to do. So now in solution-focused thinking, the question is not, why are they making so much noise? That's uninteresting. The interesting thing is, what do we need to learn in order to be able to cope with that situation, or even what do the children need to learn in order to be more quiet? And this is a good question to present to the children. Children, have you noticed that it's become a little bit noisy these days? So, how do we want it to be in the future? The children are participating in the problem-solving process. And then you can ask the children, okay, so what do we need to learn in order to make that possible? So you're talking about learning, changing things, making the world a better place by not focusing on the problem, but by focusing on what you want. So this is typical for all the 6 sessions. They are all different skills that we need to become better at in order to create a happier work environment. And it doesn't have to be called solution focused, just happens to be my terminology. Somebody else will say positive or constructive, or there are many words to describe happy working environment.
Ezek után hadd tegyem fel a főcímnek a alcímét, ezt a kérdést, hogy hogyan is teremtsünk megoldásfókuszú munkahelyi környezetet?
How we create then a solution-focused working environment?
Okay, one way that has been quite popular in the world, now that this whole solution-focused business has become a little bit popular. But one approach that many organizations have used is that they train their managers. They don't train everybody, they train just the managers. And they train the managers in what is called solution-focused coaching. That's a possibility, because when the managers start to understand this idea of solution-focused coaching, they start to speak differently with the employees, with their co-workers. And they start to use solution-focused questions. So rather than go, do this, if you don't do that, I will punish you. I need this now. You have to do this. You do wrong. You have to do like that. So you get rid of these old school managers, and you start to get these managers who are really, they understand about motivation, and they speak to you in a very respectful way and say, okay, so how do you think this could be solved, this problem? And how do you see in the future this should be? And this is the way I see it in the future, but how do you see it? There's a different style of talking, a kind of a solution-focused way of talking. That's one way of bringing, or sneaking, if you like, sneaking in solution-focused ideas into an organization. Give the managers training in solution-focused coaching. Okay, that's one solution. Our solution is a little bit different. We've thought that rather than teach everybody coaching, it takes up many years before everybody has been trained in this. We thought maybe it's better to, or at least another way of going about the business is that we have seminars, we have workshops, and in these workshops we teach core skills to people. So yes, even in our 6 sessions, one of the sessions is solution-focused coaching and motivation building. You know, we do have that one in there too. But we think there are other things, and I believe that maybe not so good idea to focus only on the managers, but try to disseminate, to spread the solution-focused ideas on all levels of the organization. So not only the managers, but everybody should have some basic training in solution-focused thinking. That will change the organization, I think, maybe quicker than training the managers in solution-focused coaching. I'm not sure about this, but that's my feeling.
What type of system you are using when applying this cooperation training? In teams, or milyen módszereket használsz, amikor ezt a kooperációs modellt javaslod alkalmazni? Ilyen csoportfoglalkozásokat, vagy teamfoglalkozásokat? Mi a véleményed erről?
Now, since this is like a training program, so it means that we need to collect people together to do exercises and to talk. We talk with each other, we make discussion groups. So we need a kind of a workshop environment. And we can work in large groups. I mean, we can have 100 people at the same time working and learning. So and we need at least 2 hours each time. So we need a module of 2 hours minimum, and in that 2 hours we have enough time to do a briefing. We are going to talk today about this and that. You know how important it is. Everybody says, yeah, it is important. For example, to give feedback. It's very, very important in an organization that we are good at giving feedback to each other. It's a basic skill. So then you make sure everybody understands that that's an important skill. And then we go into an exercise. So we say, okay, let's practice this. Are you ready? And then we make small groups. Sometimes we are just 2 people practicing together. Sometimes we are 4 people practicing together. But we always do exercises. And once we have done our exercises, we talk, we discuss. We have groups of 4, we have groups of 5, we have groups of 6, 8, and people learn from experiencing things.
Hadd kérdezzek valamit a második részéről a programnak, ami rám nagyon nagy hatással volt személy szerint. A kritika kezelése, a kritika adása, a kritika fogadása és a sértődések kezelése. Let me ask you something about the second part of the program, where several modules are about sessions, are about criticism. How to give criticism, how to receive criticism, and how to handle hurts. We are always hurted in life.
Yeah.
So how to handle this?
Okay, so this is very important, that in order to create happy workplaces, it is important that we start to pay attention to success. We feel we are appreciated. We feel our boss says nice things to us, is interested in what I have succeeded with. That's part of it. Also, it's another part that we help each other to become motivated. So we speak to each other in a little bit more like a good sports coach or a good tennis coach as compared to a bad tennis coach. These are important elements, but it would be naive. It would be naive to think that we can create a workplace just by being positive all the time. You know, we focus on the good things. We focus on how good you are. We give you positive feedback. We look at what you have succeeded. It's important. It's very important. It's pivotal, but it's not enough. We also need to be able to become a little bit better. I say a little bit better, because you don't have to be perfect, but you can become a little bit better at dealing with those situations in the workplace that are, for most of us, challenging. They are difficult situations. Somebody comes to criticize you and says that you have done a bad job and everything is wrong, what you have done, and maybe even calling you an idiot or something like that. Whew, it's terrible. Most people, they I don't know if they have a heart attack, but it's difficult to go back to workplace when you have been scolded, criticized. Somebody told you off. In English you say, somebody told you off. So, that's a skill that we have to learn. And you can become better at it. You can actually become better at listening to people who talk to you in a bad way. And you can learn to disarm them. Disarmament. So we can learn disarmament skills where we can turn a critical, somebody's criticizing us, we can turn that conversation into a dialogue. So now somebody's criticizing me, but I ask good questions, and suddenly it's no more criticism, it's a dialogue. This is a skill that we can learn. It's possible. And another skill that I think everybody should become better at, maybe I should say me too, is that when we have to criticize somebody else, if I have to come to you and say, this is not good, what you are doing, I'm unhappy with your performance. I'm unhappy with the way you do things. I'm unhappy with the way you treat our clients, or whatever, with the way you use your time in the work. How do I communicate this to you in a good way? It is possible to become better. We don't have to go to people and tell them off in a way that make them feel sad for 2 weeks, or make them feel so sad that they don't want to come back to the workplace anymore. And when we speak to people in a way that takes away their energy and makes them feel bad inside, they lose their ability to work. So we don't want that anymore. Let's say we cannot afford it. So then we have to learn to communicate better, and these are things that is possible to learn. It's actually possible to learn to say. You can still say your message, but you can put it in a nice way so the other person can listen to you and say, maybe in the best case, the other person can say, thank you, that was a good idea. I can think, maybe I could do like that, like you suggest. So things can be suggestions. So criticism can be expressed in a way that for you, who is being criticized, it feels like you were just given an interesting suggestion. And you felt like you were part of the discussion of developing a new way of handling a situation. This is possible, but you have to learn it. And I don't think you can learn it if somebody blah, 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 speaks to you about it. You have to try it.
Ben, tegyük fel, úgy, ahogy a legkülönböző országban, nálunk Magyarországon is, különböző szervezetekből számos alkalmazott menedzser elvégzi a tréning programot, ezt a Cooperation tréning programot. Mit várhatunk ettől? Mi lesz ennek a hatása?
What will be the effect if, for example, providing in Hungary, a lot of managers, people will go through this training. We will help them. And what can we wait for? What will be the larger effect of all this?
There's also already start to come some research. Well, not specifically about cooperation. This is a new program, but about similar programs. For example, the concept of solution-focused psychology and solution-focused way of treating your patients in a hospital, your clients in a children's home, in a school. There are some schools now around the world who have picked up this idea of solution focused, and they are so proud of it because the children start to be happier. But that's not the only point that the children are, the teachers are happy because all over the world, teachers are complaining about burnout. I think that's the word they use. I am burnt out. They say, I am a teacher, I'm not a psychologist. All these people, the children, everybody has problems. They should go to a hospital. They should go to a psychiatric hospital. They're crazy, the children. And then you blame the families and you blame the children and you feel like, I never get to do my own job. I'm a teacher, they say. And then you start to realize that there will never ever be enough psychologists in this world to take care of all the children. We have to do something in our schools with the millions of problems that we have. So then we start to teach people solution-focused ideas because they are cooperative ideas. You solve problems together with the children. It's not like you go to some training and there in the training the professor tells you how to do the right way. A good teacher it does like this, and here is the protocol for you to be, to be a good teacher. Okay, we've heard that before. But this, in solution-focused approach, you solve problems together with people. So you always gather people and say, here is something we might need to learn. What do you think? How can we do this in a nice way? So we are learning a new mindset, if you may. It's a mindset where the key to success is cooperation, not telling people what they should be, because I think that's what you need to be.
You know what, Ben? I would hear you for weeks, for months, for years. But unfortunately, everything has an end. Thank you very much for this beautiful interview. Thank you very much for your hospitality in Helsinki, and you are great. Thank you very much, Ben.
Thank you, wonderful questions.
Köszönjük, Ben, és megoldásfókuszú munkát kívánunk a jövőben.
Köszönöm szépen.